This video is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock.
Hello, and welcome back to another Day in the Arena. It's me, it's CGB. Today in the Arena, we're going to showcase the deck that the current world champion and arguably the greatest Magic player in the world and of all time is playing right now in the Kaldheim Championship. So our deck list today is going to be Sultai Emergent Ultimatum, brought to you by PVDDR, Paulo Vitor Dama de Rosa, who, like I said, the current world champion, currently playing in the Kaldheim Championship, currently #1 ranked in the MPL, which is also pretty cool. Here's the guy, the man of the hour, the best of the best, elite, Top Gun Magic player. And I'm going to go over some of his card choices and what he's doing with the deck. I know a lot of you still play Sultai and Emergent Ultimatum because I see you on the ladder doing that, so hopefully you'll enjoy the video there. But before we get too far into it, I also want to point out that Paulo Vitor Dama de Rosa has a YouTube channel. He's one of the few pros that I've seen that really commits to YouTube as opposed to Twitch. There's a lot of content from the MPL on YouTube, but it's mostly reposting their streams. But Paulo goes into YouTube in a way that I think the YouTube audience appreciates, in that these are videos made for YouTube. And he has some very informative ones, like how to play aggro decks, how to reach Mythic every single season, the 3 best decks in Historic, you know, the little snippets of educational content that I think YouTubers want. So check out the world champion. He has 19,000 subscribers. He should have more than me. He's better at Magic than I am, and he's very good at explaining things. So please check out his YouTube channel. Today we're checking out his deck list. I don't know if he's going to make a video about his deck and card choices, but if he does, I will gladly watch it. I'm basically going to give my impressions. Over here on this column, I've added all the cards that are consensus. This goes in the Emergent Ultimatum deck. These are numbers that we see out of most everyone. Maybe like you'll see one less Epiphany and one more Restoration here and there, but everybody mostly agrees on these cards. Then we get over here to the removal spells. Most people agree on these cards: 4 bindings, 3 Shadow's Verdict, and 1 extinction event. There's a lot of benefits to doing 3/1 splits or 1-ofs and 4-ofs, because you have Emergent Ultimatum to fetch a variety of things when you need exactly that. There's 1 Eliminate and 3 Heartless Act, for example. Then we get into some of the interesting stuff. The 1 Polukranos Unchained is definitely a difficult card for a lot of decks to deal with. For example, a Dimir control deck has trouble killing this. It gets you some value out of your graveyard, which the deck otherwise lacks. It's also fantastic against rogues if it happens to be in like the top 30 cards of your library when you play against them and you can get it out of the graveyard. The card is very strong, and I think that that's not in debate. The problem is usually most decks can't wield it because it's very mana intensive. But this deck is very good at getting mana onto the field, so Polukranos is a fine escape card to run as opposed to something like a Cling to Dust, which is a much lower power level, less likely to have a game-changing impact. And then we have the lands that the modal DFCs for the deck. So there are 4 of them. Lands that can be spells, but can also be lands if you're not counting Seagate Restoration. I guess there's 6. But the 2 Pelika Predation. So I've seen that this deck had 1 Duress in a version that came out of the last MPL weekend. Predation lets you play something that's a land, but can also be fetched with the Emergent Ultimatum, like a Duress could be if you think you need to break up the opponent's next turn. And it is just a solid way to also make sure that your ultimatum can resolve. It's also a card Paulo has used before in the Rakdos deck when nobody else was using it. So this card is something that he believes in and turns to pretty often, and you know, he knows what he's doing. It's one you don't see often, but maybe we should. Elspeth's Nightmare. This card comes and goes from my builds, and it depends on where the meta is at. Currently, 2 seems totally reasonable. When you slam it against rogues, you feel really good about it. When you slam it against cycling, you feel really good about it. There's also a lot of places, like against mono white, where you'd think it would be good, but it's too slow, and they sacrifice their dog, and their Redain lives. And it's a high impact card when it works, and it's a painful card when it doesn't have good targets and just doesn't do anything. But if it's right for the meta, it's right for this deck, and here it is. 2 mystical disputes to fight against rogues and to fight against the mirror and to help you resolve your emergent ultimatum against opponents who are trying to leave up just 1 mana. This can really punish you in best of 1. It has punished me before. I'm curious to see how it plays today because there is so much rogues and so much ultimatum right now in best of 1. Maybe it's the right time to play a mystical dispute. And then we have 2 Jwari disruptions, which also sneak a little bit of counter magic, a little bit of interaction into the mana base. 2 Behold the Multiverses. Some people play Maze Mind Tome. Maze Mind Tome dies to Bind the Old Gods. Maze Mind Tome dies to Skyclave Apparition. That's why I think a lot of people play Multiverse instead as a glue card to help you draw the right cards. And Chariot, which helps you against aggro decks. The mana base is what you would expect. A lot of Pathways and the Triumphs, 2 Temples of Milady, etc. And there is a sideboard for you best of 3 gamers. You can grab the sideboard of the World Champ with 3 Duress, 2 Negate, 2 Eliminate, 1 more Elspeth's Nightmare, an Extinction Event, another Pelucranos for the matchups where that's a house, 2 Elder Gargaroths that I'm sure come in pretty often since most people take out removal against you, 1 Shark Typhoon, which is a tremendous hit off of Ultimatum, but also just a great top deck, and 1 Coma, the Cosmos Serpent. You have to love it. Love a little bit of flavor in the win cons. Today's video is dedicated to Ve La Briori. I'm not sure, but thank you very much for joining the Cool Kids Club membership. You can join down below. $4.99 a month gets you access to the deck list I'm going to play tomorrow at least 1 day early. It also gets you other perks like the occasional bonus video. We try to make one once a week. And there are also things like early access to some of my special projects like CovertGoBlue. So please join below, and you might also get a future video dedicated to you as well as a sweet cosmetic, which we try to buy every single video. So today we are going to dedicate this hot new cosmetic of, let's go with Shadow's Verdict. Shadow's Verdict, your time has come to get blinged out. And thank you, Vey. That one's for you. Now let's dive in. Let the nonsense begin. Hanging on to the edge of the numbers. On the draw, we do have a Verdict. We don't have any ramp. Haven't drawn any ramp yet today. We have some card draw this time, which is interesting. But we're probably against aggro. I'm going to try it because of the Verdict. But we have to find ways to get there. Opponent starting on Passage is nice. If they went 1 drop, 2 drop, 3 drop, we wouldn't even get to the Verdict. And an island. What does it mean? Blue, black, something. Are you a Soaring Thought Thief gamer? Whoa. There's one you don't see every day. It's aggressive, though. If they have just some flash creatures and a counter spell for the Verdict, it will probably lose. I guess I want both. Not bad. Let's see if they let me have a Cultivate. Absolutely not! You will never Cultivate. That's fine. If we're gonna get countered, that's fine. Now let's see how much more you can do. I think we run out the binding. If they're countering things, they might not be playing threats. If they're not playing threats, I think that's okay. Okay. There goes some nice stuff. Ouchie. All right, 11. The clock keeps ticking. Do you hear it? Do you feel it? Let's play the Haven, then Behold, probably. I could also foretell these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It does set up the threat of one of these next turn, and they've been countering things so much they'll probably counter that. I don't have a good way to force them to counter something this turn, so they're probably going to play another creature. So the game could just be over. I should try to force them to counter something right now, since they've been so aggressive about that. So I should play Behold the Multiverse. And try to get more cheap counter spells or a Mystical Dispute into my hand. And the reason we do it now, not on their turn, is we want them to feel like they're going to counter it, since they've tried to counter everything so far. We don't want them to play more creatures and put us on a 2-turn clock where one counter spell kills us. Yeah, they're letting this resolve. Okay, we'll keep those. Kind of got what we wanted. Found Mystical Dispute. Here's Slitherwisp, yep. Alright, their draw's been perfect. They haven't drawn too many lands. They've had a good amount of counter spells, so all we can really do is go for this Verdict, which the opponent doesn't... My mana wants to take Dispute off the table. Why would you do this to me? We're still in a really bad place, but we have to beat their counter spells. If we don't do that, we can't win. The opponent might also just have a black creature to follow up the Verdict. All right, they go for Drown. Do you have another one? I'm scared. Because they've got something else too. It's probably another creature. Okay. They top deck a land. That was their last counter spell. At least one for 2 mana. They might still have a 3 mana counter. What do we do? I feel like we may as well go for Epiphany. A few turns in a row. At least making a bunch of 1/1s defeats them playing more creatures on end step. That resolved. Do we attack with these creatures? Get the opponent to play another thing? I don't think so. Let's just Epiphany again. Alright, we got a flock of birds to try to defend our life total. But I don't think we attack, because the opponent could flash out another creature. Timing's everything, huh? Alright. Let's bind the old gods. Take out that thief. And buy the Yorion. I'm not going to attack until I get a feel for what the other cards in hand are. No, not that one. Oh, man. All right. So they need 3 flash creatures to kill me, but actually, they played that into the Yorion. That's interesting. And they don't attack. Ooh, Predation. Predation. Let's... Oh, the moment for this card has arrived. Give me your hand. Fork it over. Into the story? No! Oh, I'm so wrecked. I am so wrecked. Okay, they do pass it over. All right. Let's see this graveyard. They don't have that many lands, so I'm not that afraid. Or I guess they'll be able to do this for 3, won't they? I guess I can Shadow's Verdict the graveyard, though. Or the board if they bring all this back. This says when you cast, so we'll get the Wisp. We're going to go to 2. Yeah, we're going to need to hold the blockers. All right. Yorion! One, 2. We have to make sure we have a blocker for this, and 2, keep it from attacking altogether. So I guess pecking away with these birdies is good. Attach the Haven here. Target the Wisp. Opponent plays the Enforcer. We go to 2. They draw a card. What a boss. Our Chariot! Oh no. Another Verdict and a Nightmare. I mean, Verdict seems okay against them, but the Sorcery Speedness is pretty rough. Do I have enough to cast 2 Verdicts? Actually, I do. I have enough to cast 2 Verdicts if they draw a counterspell. So let's keep it. So do they go for an Agadeem's? They're looking. They're doing it. They tap out for the Awakening. They mill 2 Nightmares? Lol. Alright. Let's get this Triome. We are finding lots of mana. We're definitely casting a Verdict. Let's... No way to try to pretend we're not. So let's send the birds to their death. Opponent with the smart chump block there. They know what comes next. All the little things are gone. But it gets a lot scarier next turn. So do we scry or do we make a 2/2? We still have another Verdict, so I guess we scry. A lot of ways to lose this game. Like, so many. And the opponent just says go, no land, all spells. That's not good. Let's try for another Epiphany. Death Touch acquired. Oh, stop! This matchup is a nightmare. An absolute nightmare. Alright, resolves. Attack. Hit. Make wolf. Okay, that's really big. That's going to counter their creature that they're going to play. But they might... Ooh, if it's a 1-mana creature, we just die? Oh, man. Like another Thieves Guild Enforcer. So what are the chances of that? There's one there. Yeah, pretty good chances, right? So if they go Thieves Guild Enforcer, and then they also play a removal spell, we just lose. But I want to get them to 4. If I get them to 4... then the Yorion hit is lethal, and Shadow's Verdict can get it through. So I'm going to keep the 2 birds back for 2 unique blockers, and I'm going to attack with the Yorion and the Wolf. Sick anime. Yorion and the Wolf. Alright, now they have no pressure on our life total. Unless they play Slitherwisp and 2 flash spells, they're in big trouble. What you got? If they do have the Slitherwisp, I'm probably dead because they have Omen to find the next one. Okay. Let's play the Omen. Try to find a Heartless Act or a counterspell, something. Oh, it is a Heartless Act. All right, we'll keep the ultimatum right there. And we'll go for the win, because I think that's better. What you got? Oh my gosh, should we actually somehow turn the tempo around and beat down the Slitherwisp deck? They do have an Enforcer, but that doesn't stop the lethals. All right, well. Destroy. Make them still stop 3 things. Bye-bye. Ultimatum. All right. Soaring Thought Thief. You're gonna have to chomp, and then you could still die. I guess you can block the wolf and shoot the Yorion. Brazen be the Yorion. Wow. Okay. Now we have to... Do we have to Shadow's Verdict here? With the opponent at 2? No, I think we have to replay the Yorion, right? But then we just lose to a removal spell. Yeah, we lose to any removal spell unless this finds something. They could also still have a drown in the lock, in which case we lose no matter what. I think I'll take my... Well, this is still a lethal threat, but not if I Verdict. And if I Verdict, I'm not in a better position next turn. I'll take my chances with the Sky Noodle. All right. This Omen of the Sea has to find like a Heartless Act or an Eliminate to be secure. They're letting it all go. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Let's let them make their choice. Then we're going to eliminate that Thought Thief while they're tapped out. 1 to the top. Now this is a battle. I might lose this one, but I fought well. I think we're upkeep scrying too, just for something. Something to put pressure on the board. I wish I hadn't kept this Shadow's Verdict so long ago. It's too awkward. Binding. All right, Binding can tag something after the attack if they flash something in and block one of the birds and also remove the Yorion. Still trying to kill you. Here's Brazen Bee. And Brazen Bee the Yorion. No. Oh no. So they have to block one of these. Then they'll have this that they can flash in. Does that mean I have to play Yorion again? It does. It does. And once again, if they find a card to remove the Yorion, they win. Oh man, this has been so painful. Wait, they're doing something else. Village Rites? Village Rites. All right, so we have to replay the Yorion in case they have a flash creature here. Resolves. Submit 0. All right, no flash creature. Man, they didn't have the guts to go for the Brazen Borrower for the win there. It might have worked too. They're digging. They scoop! Oh, yes! That was a heck of a game. The last time I think I played Nicole Bolas, they played Mono Red. What a joke. Looks like they're on Temur Adventure, which has a really good matchup with us. We have a ramp-filled hand. I think we just go for it. Should I play the Jwari on 1, or should I try to hold it? Well, that makes it a little easier. Actually, I'm still thinking about holding it, because we get to cultivate, and then we get to play these on things like the dragon. On the draw, it can be a very important card. Foretell. Well, saw it coming, I suppose. I wonder if I'm supposed to Jwari there and then play Haven on a land next turn. Not punished. How about this turn? They might counter the Cultivate. Let's put it to you. You want to counter a Cultivate? They often do on ladder. I never do. I never counter Cultivates usually. Well, I guess there are times, right? Like maybe if I were on the play. But like that spot, I'd save that saw it coming, but our opponent does, and sometimes that tells you something. For example, we might be learning that they have another one. Okay, this is an important one. Let's see what happens. Is it an all runs epiphany? It is an all runs epiphany. They go for dragon? They do not go for dragon. We draw binding. Binding's a good one. They're foretelling their hand like crazy. All right, are you gonna miss a land? No. Let's get the red source for the Valky. We could set up with Behold. I think we go for a Chariot, but into the open mana, they probably just stomp it or something. I don't know. It's board presence. Board presence can be really good, especially backed by an Epiphany. Let's act like we're thinking about a negate for a long time. Here comes Obosh. There's binding. Nice. I was scared for a minute. Alright, the Obosh is gone. The Alrund's Epiphany doesn't do much. The opponent's playing around these, and they have a bunch of mana now. I'm gonna go ahead and play one of these. Maybe the opponent won't play around the other one. Mammoth, okay. Alrund's Epiphany, question mark. Could be a land. They've hit every land drop, but they're fetching. And they're henging. Okay, now we know the other card. We'll have to buy Yorion and fix that. They don't have the double blue, so what are they sitting on? Nothing. Okay. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. It's gonna be really bad if somehow this is a saw it coming, but I'm so sure it's not. The stick doesn't lie. They can't fake that priority pass. Henge be gone. So do they have the land to make this a 5/5 and have a good attack? They do. Well, kind of. They had to give up another mammoth to do it. So whether or not their Epiphany is amazing comes down to this draw. Wow. I'll block that. Right? Right. Seems like a pretty desperate push from the opponent. Things are looking pretty nice for us now. Gimme. I get land. We've got a Heartless Act to defend the Tybalt, so let's say go. They might draw a dragon. Wow. Okay. That's the perfect draw. That's the perfect draw to stay in the game. I think we're still way ahead, but bravo. The removal spells are here. Let's see what we can find with Behold. Wah. Verdict says bye-bye. Hold up Heartless Act for Dragon. Game. Game. Going back very early in the game, use your counter spells to defend your threats in this deck, in Temur. Your counter spells are not to counter a Cultivate, they're to defend your threats. So you should either counter the removal spell that would kill them, the sweeper that would take your board, or you counter the ultimatum itself because that's the over-the-top play. Countering Cultivate just doesn't do anything. You had no pressure on the board. Anyway. It's a high-ranked player, and we're battling for top 1,000. They look like rogues, and we're on the draw. If this were on the play, I'd be thrilled. It's still a fine hand. We'll give it a shot. No cheap removal, though. So this could be a case where they counter Shadow's Verdict, and we lose. The rogue's win rate against Sultai is really good in the Kaldheim Championship right now. So it's another unfavorable appearing matchup, and it looks like we're in for a double crabbing. Well, we can try to draw their counter spell fire with the Chariot. We can also try to draw a Mystical Dispute. There's also a Polukranos in the deck somewhere. So there's a lot that could happen, but obviously we're getting our deck flipped upside down by the rogue player with the double crab draw on the play. We need them to run out of gas. If they just have Into the Story, we lose, and there's nothing to really say. Yeah, let's go for the Chariot, I think. We could also go for the Cultivate. I'd rather go for the Cultivate when we can also use our mana in another way that turn. But Chariot also just runs into Verdict. Maybe we're supposed to Behold. Let's see what the opponent does with their mana here. I kind of want them to counter this, don't I? Yeah, I guess I do. All right, they curved out to 4, no problem on the play with double crab, who don't, you know, provide any draw value. That's always really frustrating to see. You need them to stumble a little. A good amount of the time they do, but not here, not now, not today. All right, let's go for the verse. They're gonna allow it. Look at that! The Polukranos always ends up in our hand, not in the graveyard. I guess it's better to draw it, though, than to put it on the bottom. They do have to do something about it. And we're trying to set up so that we can resolve Shadow's Verdict. It's possible we should have just gone for the Verdict if they have Into the Story, but it's so hard to figure out what to do. Alright, it's another Enforcer. Deck is down to 37 cards. Okay, come on now. This is just cheating. You're cheating. Stop cheating. Stop cheating now. Well, yeah, send the crabs. Come on. Come on, master. All right. So Death Touch doesn't work on Polukranos, which is nice. It's got that prevent this damage clause attached to it. And now it can eat crabs. So they've got to do something about it. They say go. All right, they missed their land drop at last. I think we just want to eat the crabs. They should have removed this, so I don't think they have a removal spell. So what do they have? Yeah? Okay. I think that means they're going to go for Into the Story, but they would have done that on their turn, right? To hit their land drop? So what is their hand? It's not Heartless Act. It must be another flash creature. Okay. Weird. I don't have another black? Really, I don't. Okay. Huh. I played this on the wrong color. I meant to play this on black and didn't even realize I didn't. I don't have double black for Verdict. Oh no. Oh no. God, sometimes the pathways, man, they get you. I meant to play this on black and just didn't, and didn't even realize I didn't. Oh. That's sad. You attacking again? Yeah, I guess you want this gone? I mean, I'm down for the trades. I don't know what's going on with the opponent's hand, though. Their hand is weird. It's not land. Cling to dust, I guess? It's not another black. We need another black. I guess I have Cultivate, but let's just bottom these. Oh, the punish gets worse. It gets worse and it gets worse, guys. All right, do we do that? Or do we Cultivate? I think we go for a Chariot, actually, and a Cultivate. Don't tap that. God. No black! Oh my gosh! Oh, oh, the punish is so real. Oh, it's disgusting. It's actually disgusting. Chariot resolves. Like, what is their hand? What could it be? Lull Mage's Domination? They would have played that too. I can't think of the cards. Crippling Fear. Like, that's a card, right? It could be that. The Thirst. Let's bring this back. Maybe they target it, maybe they don't. But it threatens to block the Enforcer. I'm curious if they'll attack into it anyway. They've been pretty reckless with their creatures. I guess Bloodchief's Thirst, that could have targeted Polukranos too. I don't know. I'm so confused. Do I block with this Chariot? I guess not. I guess I can bring back Polukranos, attack with it, make a cat, and that's freaking sweet. 5 is low, but not dead. Oh, okay, come on now. Why can't I black mana? All right. Go for this. There might be none in my deck. I'm not even looking. I can't bear it. They have encountered a few things now. Okay. Eh? Okay. Make a kitty? I mean, they're not using their mana for something. They're holding Luris, and they're not hitting lands. I'm so confused. This has been the weirdest game I think I've ever played against rogues. Okay, another Enforcer. Is it going to block the Chariot? Deck is at 21, by the way. We are definitely on the edge. If they had Crippling Fear, they could have just won by not blocking the Chariot. So I don't think they have that. Oh, not that land. Any land but that land. Anything but that. My deck. What happened to my very large, beautiful deck? And look at all these black cards. The punish is so intense. It's so real. On the bright side, I don't think they have Drown in the Lock or Into the Story, which are their best cards. They top decked this. They drew this the turn before. They would have played it the turn before that. So what do they have? They could have another Blood Chief's Thirst. They could have a... If they had Crippling Fear, they would have won. It's something else. It's something else. Some rogue card, you might say? Like any card draw, they just snap off here. By Luris. Oh my. Oh, that's a black source, but it can also hit the Luris. All right, if they play Luris, we have Verdict though. So we play this tapped. Fight you. Oh, don't remove it. Don't remove it now. Don't have it now. Okay. So what do they have? A Thought Thief? Thought Thief. And I'm at 5. I have to be careful here. Let's just go for 12. Hit for 12. What's something else I could play? What's left in my deck? A Dispute is still in my deck. So is a Nightmare. And other than that, it's land. All right, we're going to try to hit the Dispute at the right time then. Okay, they say go. All 4 Thieves Guild Enforcers. And their plays on turns 1 and 2 were crab. Ugh, so nasty. One Pelucranos is going to try to pull this disaster of a game out. Oh my gosh. The drama. Opponent's mana is really tight. They go for Low Mage's Domination. That's going to be tapped, right? Yes. But what do I do about it? Do I have to hit here? Do I have any way in my deck to deal with that? I mean, we could hit the Allrun's Epiphany, which I think ends the game. All right, but we're going for the dispute. Got him! Got him! Both cards right on top. Suck it! Who's the man? This guy. Oh, Lord. I don't even get top 1,000 for that? Scammed. On the play. On the play. On the draw. But we have a Cultivate and a Mystical Dispute and a Heartless Act. We will play Magic with this. But I don't... Come on now. Come on, man. I just want to go first sometimes. Not all the times, just sometimes. This is mono white. They play mono white. That's tough. That's probably a beating. It's so hard to beat mono white on the draw. If they have any kind of like a D's hand with, yeah, a card like this that protects their creature. Attacking their hand for 3 mana is definitely not the priority when you're on the draw. That's going to be way too slow. And now they play Luminarch Aspirant. No, they don't. Okay, no Aspirant. We've got a chance. Although Hollow Blade's bad for us too. Okay, they don't have that either. So they have Redain? Oh god, not Redain. Oh god, not Redain. If they miss this land drop or don't have Redain, we're doing okay. What? The Faceless Haven's a very good card. I wonder if I play a Heartless Act here and try to preserve some life. I guess if they have Redain, I have to try to force it on Redain, right? So, ouch. Would you like to sacrifice in response? I mean, they're just going to sacrifice a Savior anyway. The problem is if I play Savior here, and they either... I guess they won't use LC to protect it. Here's what we do. We target the Savior. We target the Savior. They kept this hand against us. They must have Redain, so we need to get rid of it. And we're not going to get rid of it without drawing another removal spell, and we're not going to get rid of it while the Savior's on the board. Of course, on ladder, crazy things happen. Maybe they don't have Redain. Maybe they have nothing. Maybe they are like, do I play my Skyclave Apparition as a 2/2? Sword of the Realms. Okay. Okay. So next turn, they suit this up, they attack. That's not bad. They might have another Halvar, so maybe we're supposed to dispute that, but we have Binding, but they'll have Protection. Yeah, I think we use our counter here. I think I would use our counter, not our Cultivate. They could play around it, which would be sad, but it's not that fast. It's like a medium clock. They also could think that we're going to use a removal spell when they try to equip. So maybe they'll play differently because of that. I don't know. I've got to get something out of this dispute. Okay, they're just going to attack for 1, which means we're probably going to counter something here. Yes! Yes! That's the play. That's the play. That's huge, I think. Let's see how it goes from here, of course. Okay, if we cultivate this turn, then we ultimatum the next turn, unless they have Redain. If they do have Redain, we have to bind it. All right, then I guess we know our plan. We need green, and we need... I guess just green? We don't need blue. So I guess black. This can be green if I put it on the right frickin' thing. So we have enough mana if they play another Redain to bind through it. The problem is they'll have a bounty to protect. So let's see what happens. Haven. Attack. If they equip the sword to the Alseid post-combat, we get to bind the Alseid. So they don't do that. Let's bind the sword or the Alseid. It's got to be the Alseid, right? Alseid finds all kinds of sneaky ways to get through. All right, don't Redain. We need to dodge Redain. I think we've done a good job keeping the pressure off, but we're also flooding, so we're all in on this. It's not a bad card to be all in on. Haven. Haven attacks. Okay. So they don't have Giant Killer available. They probably have Skyclave Apparition in hand. Maul of the Skyclaves might be a card they just drew. We're all in on this. We have to make it count. I've had a lot go wrong when I fetch Vorinclex lately. The opponent always seems to have some kind of an answer. Hurobest the Sea God, of course, is a house. An Alrund's Epiphany here isn't good for me. They might put it away, but it's not good for me. Alright, then I think I'm getting the power package. It's because I'm all land Andy over here. Oh my goodness. But we weren't forced to get, you know. Ooh, okay. So, last in, first out. So Valky here as Tybalt. And Vorinclex over here. Give it. Redain surprisingly effective against them because of the way it affects their snowlands. And no attacks so we can block the Haven. And now we have all these cards to play Magic with. Could have also played the Savior to protect the Vorinclex. Maybe that's better. But then if they have some exile effect, it's gone anyway. But they'd probably play Giant Killer, not Banishing Light. Although you see all kinds of stuff on the ladder. Got him with the tap land. Yeah. Nice. Whew. Took out the mono white, got into the top 1,000. All right, ramp, counter, big stuff. On the draw is rough, though. Temple, huh? Well, there's one you don't see every day. I guess I'll take a Scry as well. Yeah, that's fine. I was like, what would I keep? Would I keep a removal spell? Probably not. I probably wouldn't keep a sweeper, but I'll keep card draw. Foretell, all right. Looks like it's gonna be a tricky one. Let's say go. We'll play the Haven next turn and hold up the Jwari. The clock. Nope. Let's just shut that down. A little bit of mana advantage is not what I want to give them. Ooh, they're having some tap land issues, but they're trying to set up probably plenty of Saw It Comings. No red mana. Will I find red mana? Probably not. Let's go ahead and put that away. That's a good draw. That is a draw. Foretelling this lets me try to cast it next turn, which is interesting for sure. Let's go. If the opponent taps out and like casts a dragon or something, we can go for it. Maybe I'm supposed to have Epiphany open for a dragon here, but looks like they're going for granted. Let's see if they take a duress. I mean, would you with 2 foretold cards? No, wait, they don't have black mana. What am I talking about? So what do they get? They get another counter. All right. Well, we can make them respect this. That is a really good card with some extra turns. Nope. Oh, they got noped. That's like a GG, I think. Oh, the Mystical Dispute just showed up big time, didn't it? Oh my goodness. Absolutely got... Oh my lord. Really? What's better? Are they just dead? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. They're not dead, but they're not coming back. Just what a dumpster fire. Absolutely dunking on them for that play. They're going to need a lot of turns in a row and a miracle to come back from that. And we didn't even resolve our ultimatum, which is our last card. Oh my gosh. And it was all because Mystical Dispute. Oh my goodness. That was absolutely sweet. And we are back for the post-game wrap, and I had a lot of fun playing this deck, and I did like kind of earn a decent amount of respect for the modal DFCs, especially. The Palaka Predation and the Jwari Disruption were very handy. Like, those let me play the game a different way, where if they were just land, it wouldn't have got there. And while the tap land punished me sometimes and was occasionally hard to wield, mostly I could look back and say, well, I made a sequencing mistake, or I played my pathway on the wrong color. That's why I had those mana problems. These are pretty good spells to have in the deck, and I really like them. So that I'm pretty sure about. Mystical Dispute. It didn't punish me, but it should have. I think against mono white, they slow rolled their Redain, and I think that let me dispute it. So I got away with something there. I'm not sure that this is the card you should have in Best of One, but against Rogues, it was absolutely critical. Like, we brought home the victory because of the card. It is a card that has an effect that is just hard to find. A 1 mana, either counter their big spell or resolve your big spell, is very unique. And 2 of it isn't going to break too many games, even if it is out of position in the matchup. So I'm down with it for now. Elspeth's Nightmare. This card didn't really have a big impact today. It was here every now and then, but we didn't have it on the field much, and it didn't have a ton going on. This is the one that I think, as much as I like the card, I think it just gets too bad sometimes. On the draw, sometimes it can't even hit the opponent's rogues because they play double Thought Thief and get 8 cards in your graveyard and you're just wrecked. So this is the card I'm most cynical of at the moment, and the card I'd most likely cut for something out of the sideboard. What do I want out of the sideboard? Well, I'm always thinking in ways that help me fight aggro decks. Usually, that's the first thing that comes to my mind, so I really would like another sweeper. We didn't sweep the board too often, and it was difficult to resolve the sweepers we had. But maybe I'm overvaluing the sweeper. I would love the Shark Typhoon. I love being able to fetch a Shark Typhoon. I love being able to do something on my opponent's turn that's uncounterable to force them to respect my other huge threats. So I'd want the Shark Typhoon very much, and maybe it would be like a Fourth Shadow's Verdict or the second Extinction Event, and what I would replace are the Elspeth's Nightmares. That's how I would one board right now, because I think the card, although devastating when it's great, is a little too narrow at the moment, which is why I cut it from my Dimir control deck, where I played a ton of games with it. Maybe it's better in this deck, but I'll leave that up to you. You know whether or not you love Elspeth's Nightmare, but I would try something different. All right. That's me talking about the deck, and that's the world champion Paulo Vitor Damatarosa's Sultai list, which they announced the top 8 while I was recording some games. He did not make the top 8, but I assume a teammate of his, Gregors Kowalski, playing the exact same list, did make the top 8. So Gregors is going to take this list into battle in the top 8 in an effort to become the Kaldheim champion later today. So that's exciting. If you want to see the height of competitive Magic, this is one of the decks that's out there doing it. Thank you for watching this video. As always, I will see you in the next video. You're cool.